You know, time in post editing all my throat clearing.
Yes. Hello,
my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a weekly information security show featuring some all-around good people. It is week 1 of 2025. I'm Chris Louie, and still full from all that Taco Bell I ate over the Christmas holiday break. We want to wish a very happy new year to our listeners. With me, I have my co-host, the Cloud God, who is able to afford to heat his swimming pool in the winter, the ultimate flex.
I know that sounds like a flex, but I do live in Arizona, and it was like 75 degrees outside, so I guess heating the pool isn't really that big a flex.
What was the temperature to start, though? It was like 60s?
It was like 52, I believe. It wasn't that cold. Yeah. And it actually came to temp pretty quick. And then, and I only did it because my nephews were in town visiting from Oregon. And it was kind of cool to watch my little brother teach the oldest how to swim. And then, which he kind of already knew a little bit, but he got really good towards the end. They were at my house every day for 5 days straight for, 2.5, 3 hours. And then the younger boy, he's 4. Yesterday, he started swimming without the floaty and everything. So it was a lot of fun.
They learn quickly, don't they?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Important life skill. If you fall in a pool, you're able to at least get out or get to the side.
Exactly.
And we have Glenn Medina ready with the Vaseline for our January fitness challenge.
What? I will say that's not me that talked about the chafing. That was somebody else. I just said that was a little TMI there. So, yeah, no. I actually got up this morning thinking I was going to go do my mile, go run the mile, and had to go pick up the wife and came back home. I was like, I'm going back to bed. So that's why I'm late.
That a boy.
Yeah, I know we're only about 10 hours into 2025, and some people have been logging some serious mileage already in our group chat.
Yeah.
I know, man. My goal was to actually run this morning, but, in my infinite wisdom, having family come over and swimming, 2 kids sick, and so now I'm sick. Go figure.
Oh yeah.
It was worth it.
Yeah, well, that'll set you back a little bit.
Last week
I'll still kick your butts.
Yeah, last week I had a bad back, so I was killing myself thinking, how am I going to run the first week in January with a bad back? But I've made it through. I'm a whole lot better now.
Well, except power walking too, Glenn.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Just because 31 miles, like I'm with you on that. Running, walking, but if you're like, I'm gonna do 31 miles on a bicycle, that doesn't count. You need to do like 6x.
Yeah, Ben.
Or maybe ice skating. What is that?
Or maybe. Well, what's funny is there's someone up in like the Klondike, I think, and that's doing the fitness challenge, and she logged an indoor run, so there was no excuses. So
yeah, that's awesome. Great work.
Yeah.
And what's funny was we had Vic VDL, of course. He was like, I don't know how to translate kilometers to miles. It's like, dude, do the math. It's not that hard. If not, GBT it, right? So you'll figure it out.
Canadian education system failed you.
Yeah, I know.
I told him when they become the 51st state, he'll have to know it real quick.
Exactly. They'll learn pounds, miles, feet. No guests this week, just us hosts for the first show of the year. Combined, we have decades of information security experience here, not just to educate, but to entertain. We've got 4 awesome stories for this week, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This week, we're going to talk about the case for TikTok getting banned, Apple getting sued for not doing something. For our third topic, cybersecurity gets hacked, and close with CSGO gambling talk. For our first topic, we might have the first demonstrable case of TikTok influencing politics and swinging an election. During last month's presidential elections in Romania, an unknown pro-Russian candidate unexpectedly surged to the top of the polls after a major influence operation was run on the social media platform TikTok. The top 2 candidates were headed to a runoff election before the EU invalidated the election due to an outside foreign influence. Approximately $380,000 was spent to promote the pro-Russian candidate on TikTok without being marked as campaigning material required by TikTok's terms and Romanian election laws. The campaign was also heavily promoted by previously dormant accounts that had been registered more than 2 years ago. So all the markings of a classic influence campaign.
So TikTok now has people that are of the age of voting. That's incredible.
Been
And
around.
At
scary.
least in Romania.
Yeah.
Damn. What's the legal age to vote in Romania? Is it 10? Who's voting? Is this YouTube kids? What the hell?
That's a grok.
If you could belly up to the bar, you can go.
I bet you it's 18 to vote. I'm all, as much as I am not a TikTok fan, I don't think that the old government needs to ban anything.
18.
I'm not about
You're right,
that.
Brian.
18. What do you guys think? Where are you guys on this whole TikTok ban? Do you think we should ban it, or you let people do their own discretion? I think it's government overreach.
I'm of the mind that I'll get it out there. I don't like the app. I think the world would be better off if we did not have the app, but I agree with you. It is government overreach to ban it. The only thing I would say though is fair trade. Like China cannot have X, Facebook, any of Google, any of our stuff. So why should we allow China into the US? Like I think it should be mediated on a trade level, not a political law level.
Well, it would never work that way because big tech over here is not giving them the keys of the kingdom.
Yeah.
No. Well, it's not the keys to the kingdom, right? It's just access, right? If they would just allow access to those apps inside of China themselves, because I don't think those apps in China are allowed at all, right?
They're not. Well, by the keys of the kingdom, I mean, they want to be able to read everything and log everything, right?
Yeah, that's why Apple built iCloud in China, so the Chinese government can sneak in. They don't even have to sneak and peek; they just peek. They're very overt about they don't care about privacy.
Do you think they run like a completely different code base between China, iCloud versus US, or everything else?
It'd be a very expensive proposition.
It's very expensive, but in order to access that market, it's either do that or be banned. I think Apple would rather not be banned. So no matter what the cost is, as we can clearly see, they'll bend the knee.
Yeah, but I'm with you. I think the world would be a better place without TikTok. But again, like that's not up for me. Now, if we want to ban TikTok, like at the White House, right? Like if Trump's on there doing weird dances, I'm all for it. Yeah, block that. But or any other government agency, that's fine. You can block it there. But as for me in my home, like this is none of your business.
A lot of states have blocked it. Like you said, the federal government, you can't have it on an official government device. Some states, same thing. You can't have it on a government device. Some state universities, they block it on their Wi-Fi network. But then what do you do? What do kids do when something's blocked? They just find a way around it. They'll VPN. They'll just turn off Wi-Fi and use LTE. There's always going to be ways around it. Like the only way you could really make a difference is, I think it might be Montana that did that. That said Apple cannot publish this app in the App Store if you're in the state of Montana. But
TikTok?
It's just like the Pornhub thing where it's state by state. Just VPN to another state, VPN to another country, and you get around that geo block.
Yeah,
bro. My so I at the house I do block TikTok, and every once in a while I'll have a niece or nephew that's an adult that comes over here, and every single time there's a downstairs bathroom and they go in there to use the restroom, and all you hear is, "God damn it! Why does TikTok not work in the house?"
Like clockwork.
Good for you. Good
like
for
clockwork.
you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I did have to. We did have someone house sitting / dog sitting, and so I had to open up the old TikTok and Snapchat for that person.
Yeah, those are the conditions of house sitting. Must be allowed to access these apps.
Must be allowed.
Well, I didn't want him to imagine you're sitting there, you're in someone's house, and you're getting blocked, and let's say you open up TikTok or I don't know Snap in a browser, right, and you're met with a block page. It says you're Brian Deitch's house. You can't do that. I think you probably freak out a little bit. Like, what is this dude doing? So instead, I just kind of like, I just tell them, usually I'm like, hey, these are the cameras that we have in the house. These are the exterior ones. These ones are always on. These ones are never on unless it's a certain, criteria. And the same thing with the internet. All internet's coming through is being monitored, but not probably to the degree that you should be alarmed.
Jeez,
and then,
his house setting T's and C's is
like
18 pages long, written by a lawyer.
Yeah.
But like, what am I going to do? Turn it off? Then I'm making myself liable then.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I got too much going on. I guess I could maybe do a third network and just send it directly out.
They can go LTE and use their own phone, right? I mean, they can use
their
own bandwidth to get out.
Unless the cell signal's bad in your area.
House guest Wi-Fi, right? And then you jump on that, then it's just free for all. You do whatever you want. I think maybe I'll do that from now on. Make it life a little bit easier.
Make a third VLAN.
Everyone's just going to use that to get out, right? I mean, what's the whole point?
I'll just turn it off when we're home.
Sure. Yeah, he either turns it off or you can rotate the password every 24 hours.
Yeah.
Bro, the home assistant stuff that I was doing this past break is insane. The level of like, if you have the app on your phone, just like the fact they can like, it's just like, oh, you're on Wi-Fi. Then you went to cellular, and then you went to automotive. Like, it's literally logging like everything that I'm doing. It's like, oh, you were running, and then you left apparently the gym. Then you walked to your car. Then you got into your car, and then you arrived home because you jumped on the network there.
The level of logging on that's a little too much.
Dude, it's wild. I'm looking at this. I'm like, how the hell?
Not cloud.
Yeah.
Dude, it's insane. Pretty cool though.
Yeah, well, more data for them to mine, for TikTok to mine, and figure out where you are and who you're meeting with. Like it's clearly been demonstrated that TikTok can be abused that way. Like ByteDance, the parent company, said they were tracking people's phones that had TikTok installed to see who from inside the company was meeting with these journalists. They were like so-called whistleblowers and leaking them information. They used the TikTok app to track their employees and track these reporters.
No, thank you. I think I had it installed for a month or maybe 2 weeks a while back, like years ago when they first started, and I've since removed it. Oh,
I only installed it because I wanted to follow Brian so I could see his dances before he deleted his account.
I was really good at dancing, guys. What can I say?
He's doing the YMCA.
Yeah.
All right, for our second topic, in a seemingly strange twist, Apple is being sued for $1.2 billion for not implementing the client-side CSAM detection on their iPhones.
What?
Thousands of plaintiffs are victims of child sex abuse material, and they allege that Apple is profiting by not improving their CSAM detection capabilities. Some question if the goal really is to get a payday or if they want to force Apple to implement the controversial feature. If you remember, we covered this story a few years ago that Apple is going to load the hash values, so only the hash values, so these numerical values of known CSAM material onto a user's device, and then scan the user's device to see if there is a match. If enough matches were found, it would alert Apple and law enforcement to stop the propagation of CSAM material and catch people trafficking it. And the thought was that, like when you look at OneDrive or Box or Dropbox, they all have CSAM detection capabilities. They also have your encryption keys. And what Apple wanted to do was they wanted to do full end-to-end encryption so that if Apple got a subpoena, Apple could say, we don't have the keys, we can't look at your iCloud data. And the only way to detect if the CSAM material is being stored was to do it on the client side before it gets uploaded.
So this is where I sound like a giant hypocrite. Government wants to ban TikTok, out of bounds, government overreach. Apple wants to look for CSAM material and notify the authorities. I'm all for it. Let's do this. CSAM material, let's get rid of it all. But yeah, I guess this is just a lot more harsh.
I think Apple had a perception issue. That was the thing. Like this feature, like objectively, when you look at it, they did it right. Like you load these hash values. They have very strict controls to prevent false positive. Or the false positive rate was like 1 in 2 million or something like that. And you'd have to have multiple violations before it would trigger anything. But people got worried when they say, Apple's going to load CSAM material on my phone. No way. Like they don't understand how hash values work.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It's implemented correctly. It's just the whole like, how do you implement outside of there? Like, could you turn this over and be like, we know definitively that on Chris Liu's device, there's some bad stuff on here. Now it's up to you guys to catch them, right? And by the way, we're not giving you the keys to do it. Like it's one of those weird things. Like where there's smoke, there's fire. But you guys have to do some actual police work behind the scenes, I think.
Right? Like, is it enough to get a warrant? Is that probable cause?
Well, even if you got a warrant, right? Like no one's going to unlock their phone.
No, you have to Ross Ulbricht
The
them.
dogs are drinking water right now,
Yeah.
and I want to. It's gonna be such a pain for you to edit. Chris. I'm so sorry. Can you guys like go somewhere else? Like I swear to you guys, it's the sound that makes me want to jump off a bridge. Like, it's now there's two of them doing it. It's like they're baiting me, like, and they're just like looking at me, like.
Is the kids or the
my
dogs?
God.
Just like a child.
It's the dogs. Dogs drinking water. It drives me nuts. I've been out here since 8 o'clock this morning, and right now they're like, oh, I think I'm gonna get a drink of water for the next 45 seconds. God damn it! Sorry, guys.
This
is going. This is not
CSAM
stopping. This is
I
insane.
agree. CSAM is bad, but I don't know, man. Just the fact that they'll reach into your device. I don't like anyone reaching it, because if they could reach into your device for that, they can reach into your device for anything else. So
yeah, I think that was the argument when this feature first came out. One of the arguments, I forgot who made it. One of us did, that said, well, everybody agrees CSAM is bad and we should eliminate it. But what if China coerces Apple into tweaking the algorithm? So now the hash values for, Xi Jinping look like Winnie the Pooh, like those kinds of pictures. Is that are they gonna be able to tune the algorithm for that specifically for China? Is Apple gonna do it? Who knows? It is a slippery slope, but it is also a net positive if we can catch these predators.
I need to watch more like true crime shows. Like how do we just give them enough to? Here's the thing. I think they can get away with this. Like if what was the number? 1.2 million likelihood, false positive rate, right? Like if you really have something bad on your device, then they should be able to notify authorities. Chances are, if you're dumb enough to have that on your phone, you're dumb enough to be doing other weird things like cruising around in a van that says "I have candy" on it, right?
like grooming.
I guarantee you, like it's like you just hang out by the park. You know what I'm saying? Like this. Be able to sit there and just watch, just observe. There's no laws against observing, right?
No.
I'm not saying track them. I'm not saying put a device on there. I'm just saying, hey, there's a weirdo over here on Maple Street. Why don't we just watch him for a little bit?
You'll likely be able to
self-incriminate eventually.
Yeah, catch him doing something else.
Yeah.
I was going to say to Brian's point about
awesome would that,
how do you get a device unlocked? Because if it's an iPhone, like it's nearly impossible to unlock an up-to-date iPhone. But they could like Ross Ulbricht him, basically watch the perp. I should say him. There's female predators out there too. The alleged perpetrator, just wait for them to unlock their phone at like a Starbucks, and then you just tackle them while the phone is unlocked, and then you could just get a forensic image of the phone while it's unlocked.
I was gonna say the exact same thing. I would totally do that. Has that happened in the past?
That has happened in a number of the darknet takedowns. So Alphabay and Silk Road, I know for sure what they had to do was because they used Linux, which is the Linux encryption is very good. So if the computer is shut down, there's no way to get into it theoretically. So what they did for Ross Ulbricht, he managed the Silk Road from the public library in San Francisco on their public Wi-Fi. So they monitored him. They said, this guy has his computer unlocked. Let's take him down. And that's basically what they did. They tackled him in the chair when his computer was unlocked, and they got a forensic image of his device.
Command L.
I know, right? And then same with the Alphabay guy. I think he was arrested in, I want to say, Thailand. And they said, well, how can we get this guy out of his house while his computer is unlocked? So what they did was they just took not a police car, an unmarked car. They rammed it into the front of his house. So the guy's like, hey, what the heck just happened? And he jumped up, ran to the car. And then that's when they tackled him. And then they got his computer when it was unlocked.
That's crazy.
And that's why, like,
That's crazy.
There's a thing I found a couple of years ago. I remember it's a USB, like a thumb drive. It's plugged in the computer on one end. It's attached to a lanyard on your belt on the other end. And if you ever remove this USB flash drive, the computer automatically locks, or you could write a script to say wipe the computer. So if you ever get tackled like that, then remove the flash drive, then it locks and deletes your computer.
Oh, man.
Can you imagine you're sitting there, you ate a little too much Taco Bell. You're like, oh gosh, it's coming. You forget that it's attached to your belt. You get up and run, and just boom, everything's gone. I remember, like, way back in the day, I forget, maybe it was on Dig. Remember Dig? And
Yeah,
people would
before
have
Reddit.
like this insane setups, like they were up to some nefarious things like DDoSing and stuff, and they would have like thermite on top of the tower that if someone came in, same thing would just like liquefy the entire machine.
Yeah. I remember those there's like laptop stickers where it's like a little crosshair and you put it on the laptop and it says in case of police raid, drill here or something, and it's supposed to be like right over the SSD.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, but I mean, going back to the lawsuit, like 1.2 billion, that's a rounding error. Apple will make that amount of money in 30 seconds. Before I finish this sentence, Apple's made another 1.2 billion, but Apple's not known for settling.
They're a trillionaire company, right?
3
At this
trillion.
point?
3 trillion market cap.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. They make that just go away real quick.
They could, but they could either. What I think is they could fight it because Apple never settles. They would rather fight than settle, or they could intentionally lose the lawsuit and says, "Oh no, we have to implement it because we lost this lawsuit." Because Apple, they wanted to do it, but there was too much pushback from privacy people and security people saying this is kind of creepy. But if Apple's forced to do it by a court, they're like, "Well, it's out of our hands. We have to do it now."
How do we get on the lawsuit so that way we know that's going to happen, right? We should that should be a bet. We should hedge on that.
The Cal sheet bet.
So I think Chris and Glenn will know the answer to this first one. I think Chris will know the answer to the second, and I think you guys will go 0 for 3 or 0 for 2 on the third one. So
All right, hit me.
all right, so how long is 1 million seconds?
I've heard of this before. The difference between like 1 million and 1 billion seconds. I think it's like 34 days, something like that, I want to say.
I don't know.
So 1 million seconds, so equate this to dollars as well, just to get the scale of how much bigger it is. So 1 million seconds is 11 days.
Okay, yeah.
1 billion seconds is 31
It's like
years.
30 years,
That's
right?
the delta.
Yeah.
Yeah, 31 years. And you know what the delta is between 1 billion seconds and 1 trillion?
I don't know. Magnitude. Orders of magnitude larger.
It's insane. Like I was like, I don't know, 100 years? No, it's 31,688 years.
Oh, wow.
So when you're just like, I have $1 million. Well, Apple's got 3 trillion. Like, do you understand like how much bigger that is? Like it's insane. Insane.
You just think like the U.S. government runs $1 trillion deficit every 7 months. So if they spent $1 per second, it'd take them 30,000 years to do it. We somehow magically are able to do this in 7 months.
Well, dude, I think RFK, if he's his Department of Health or whatever he's gonna be doing, his budget. You know what his budget is?
Oh, it's outrageous. It's a huge.
Yes, yeah, $1.5 trillion.
Because
I don't even know.
Because HHS oversees Medicare.
Yeah,
which is a gigantic part of our spending.
Wow.
All right, for our third topic, hackers were able to hijack and insert info stealing code into dozens of Chrome extensions, including the extension of cybersecurity company Cyberhaven. The way the attackers got access to the developer accounts was through a clever phishing campaign. Threat actors sent phishing emails to Chrome extension developers stating their extension would be removed from the Chrome store unless the developer performed a verification step. So you can see the telltale signs of a phishing campaign, you have a very urgent need or something bad is going to happen. When the developer clicked on the link in the email, it took them to a legitimate Google login page where after logging in, it would ask the developer to allow third-party access to their account to a tool called, quote, privacy policy extension, which sounds legitimate. If the developer was duped into allowing access, then the threat actor gained full control of the Google account, completely bypassing password and multi-factor authentication requirements.
Once again, why browser extensions suck. How did the Google store miss this? Just kidding. They suck. I can see that.
Do you know how much malware is up on the Google Play Store?
Yeah, dude, I can, without naming names, yeah. I remember someone recently was like, hey, this great way to make money. And he's like, this app. I'm like, for some reason, this app you're talking about is banned on iOS, but it's widely available
on Android.
On Google Play. Yeah, on Android. So I was like, that was the first red flag.
Yeah. When you think about like,
what does Cyberhaven even do? I don't even know.
DLP, right? Forensics.
Are they?
Oh, look at Glenn. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so our former chief marketing officer is their CEO. That's all I know about this company.
Yeah.
Well, technologies, cloud and generative AI, guys. Watch out. And printing.
It's got all the buzzwords.
All the buzzwords. Data detection response. Wow.
Yeah,
well,
DSPM?
Whatever. It's going to happen. What are you going to do, right? You can only educate, the weakest link in all of this stuff is always the user. I wonder, had Cyberhaven had a full proxy in between there, if this newly registered domain or phishing domain would have been able to circumvent it.
Yeah, or if there was a product out there that would look for these third-party access, the login with Google, the login with Facebook, the login with Microsoft. If there was a product out there that could look and see if there were suspicious services that were connected to your Google account, then maybe that might have caught it too.
But I think you hit the nail on the head. Urgency. Yeah. Urgency is key in all this stuff. Anytime it's urgent, then we should probably always second think it. And it's a good way to look at it.
It's pretty devious. Like when we think about how everybody says, authentication that's the new gatekeeper. Like have very strong authentication. If you have Okta, you have multi-factor authentication, you have trusted device checks, you have geo checks, you have anomalous login checks. Like you can do all that stuff, but if you allow third-party access, so you could legitimately log in on your corporate device, but then you say, grant this third-party access to my account, then that all goes out the window.
Yeah. What do you think the executive team is doing over there right now? Probably lots of fish me training and budget just opened up.
Don't click on suspicious
links.
What's
weird about that is like, so they're a data protection company, but they're probably not that big. I bet you, what do you think? They have like 1,200 users?
Yeah, I'd
users
say so.
Or employees?
Employees.
Yeah.
Well, not even. Well, it says 181 employees. Okay, yeah. They don't even have, there's no way it's that small. But even if, let's say that they were at 1,000 users, they still, employees, they don't have enough talent there to actually spend money and do security correctly.
Yeah. Cyberhaven, you're right.
Most
50 to 200 employees.
Yeah. Most startups, right? I don't think they're spending a lot of their money on their cybersecurity program, right?
Do you think they just do risk analysis and then just buy insurance and call it a day? Yes, there's giant gaps in our stuff. We'll just insurance policy, baby. It's like cheaper. I remember, I've said it before. The first year of trying to get PCI compliant when I was at US Airways it was cheaper to take the fines every month as opposed to trying to get everything compliant.
Yeah.
Got to make it punitive enough to change people's behavior.
But it was still bad. It was still like $50,000 a month in fines. But they're just like, well, we can't get it done. So come back to us next year.
Legal for a fee.
Yep.
But Cyberhaven was not the only one. They're just the most high-profile one because they happen to be a cybersecurity company. But there was like 35 other random extensions that got hijacked this way. And the only thing they were asked, so they put an info sealer on the user's machine through this extension, but the only thing they were after was Facebook business accounts. So I'm not sure why they did that or why they're so valuable. And that's the only thing they were looking for. It's not like banking passwords or source code or intellectual property. No, they were looking for Facebook business account credentials. That was like the only thing they were looking for.
Probably do some brand damage and do some, right?
Or just maybe you just, let's say you get 10,000 accounts, right? And it's like, just still $500,000 here and there, just enough that it keeps you under the radar, but makes you a good living on the back end,
Oh.
IRS ain't coming for you. FBI's not coming for you. You're just doing nefarious things under the radar.
It's got to be some kind of fraud, like it's either click fraud or something like that. Because I remember when my uncle passed away, I was like in charge of his estate and in charge of like closing his credit cards and everything. And weirdly enough, like even after his date of passing, like there were charges to Facebook for like random amounts, like $50 or $200. So I disputed. I'm like, the guy's dead. Like he obviously did not make these charges, but I'd like to think that maybe that was it. You hijack someone's Facebook business account, point the account to the bank account to your bank account, and then you get all these stolen credit cards and make all these fraudulent charges on Facebook Marketplace or Facebook Business, whatever, and then that's how they can launder the money. Maybe, interesting scheme, but they got caught.
They got caught. They got caught in the middle of it, right? And they had to figure a way around it. So
yeah.
But phishing, it's still unbelievable that phishing is still an easy access. Like,
yeah, just bypass multi-factor authentication. It's that third-party access that's the weak link there.
Yeah.
All right, for our last topic, it will be a rotating topic every week. This week, we're going to talk about Counterstrike gambling. During the Christmas break, YouTuber CoffieZilla dropped a 3-part series about the gambling economy of the popular game Counterstrike. Counterstrike is a free-to-play game, but just like the video game Fortnite, you can pay for cosmetic upgrades, the most popular and most valuable ones being weapon skins. A player can buy a loot box for a random weapon skin on Steam. Gambling sites open up where you can trade in those weapon skins for credits and use those credits in an online casino. It's like a literal casino. You can play like blackjack, you play roulette, you play whatever. You can then cash out those credits by buying other weapon skins. The problem comes when these gambling sites do no KYC or know your customer checks and do not even ask for ID for age verification. This allows minors to gamble, which obviously is against the law. The problem is if one website starts asking for ID, then those customers will just go to a different gambling site that does not require age verification, and it creates a race to the bottom.
As a avid Fortnite gamer myself, only in the month of December, I will say that I do have 49 victory royales in the last 2 years, but whatever. I was trying to get to 50. I didn't make it. Fortnite does, or Epic Games does an incredible job. Like when you're waiting for the game to load, it's like, don't ever share your username and password with anybody. And then it's like, what's the other one? It's like selling Fortnite accounts is like illegal. Like you can't do that. You get permanently banned. So interesting that they do that. I think they could probably make a decent buck if they opened up the ability to sell your somewhat, I guess your skins, your avatars and whatnot. That'd probably make a lot of money, but who knows? But yeah, let's go. Counterstrike.
Yeah, it's a huge problem.
Have you ever?
Like because I remember even like I want to say 2016. That was like 8 years ago. There were 2 YouTubers that got in a heap of trouble because they ran one of these Counterstrike gambling sites and they were promoting it on their YouTube channels. Like, hey, I went to this Counterstrike website and I won so much money. Everybody should go there, use my code or whatever. And then it turns out that the 2 people promoting it owned the website without disclosing it. And the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC here in the U.S., got involved and they they had to pay fines, and it was the first time ever that quote influencers were responsible for the content that they were providing without proper disclosure.
Chris has turned off his camera. He's probably vomiting. Back in a minute. I don't know. What do you think, Glenn? Probably the worst story of the week. I thought we could do a better random story next time.
Kids gambling. It's like they don't do that already on the baseball field, right? So
right, yeah, exactly. Anyways, what'd you do for the New Year's Eve, buddy? Just have a kickback and have a nice little drink?
Yeah, it was good. Everybody came over, and actually, New Year's Eve day or New Year's Eve night?
Night, so, yeah. You do anything fun?
Nah, just dropped off the wife at work and came back home and tried to, like I said, prepare for the new year. I stayed up, but fell asleep real quickly after. So how about you?
I think I made it till like 10 o'clock. So like my house is completely empty. Everyone's out doing something else. And my wife and my youngest daughter were out in Dallas, Texas doing like a thing that they do every single year. So I what the heck did I do? Hung out with my nephews, my brother, and my sister-in-law. We were basically swimming all day. That's how they got me sick. And then my daughter was like, my oldest daughter was like, well, I want to come home. Here, long story short, she's like, oh, I'm gonna go to this thing. Like they're doing like a murder mystery thing.
Okay.
And she's like, a particular guy's gonna come pick her up. And I was like, oh, all right, let's go. And she's like, I don't know, blah, blah. So anyway, she's like, I don't know if I really want to ride with him. She's like, I kind of want to come home and watch you play Fortnite. I'm like, how the hell are you wanting to watch me play Fortnite when you can like have like, like you're doing a murder mystery thing and then you can hang out and like, maybe this guy, maybe he's something, right?
Yeah.
She's like, no. So anyways, she comes back home like right around 10 o'clock and I was like, how was it? I go, any sparks? She's like, nope, no sparks. I was like, so you done? She's like, yeah. I'm like, it's 10 o'clock. You're 21 years old. Like, it's so wild to me that this is your thing. She's like, and she's currently dog sitting for someone. So we hung out for a couple minutes and then she took off. But, everyone's different, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying, Brian, you don't like my fourth topic. Come up with a better one next week.
Oh, that's easy, dude. That's easy. I just came up with one right now. What do we do for New Year's Eve? In your face, loser. I didn't even have to think about it. And I got sick head.
This is the first year in a long time that we didn't have anything like planned with friends or other people. So we just took it easy this year. Watched Gladiator 2. Okay movie. Not great. Not as good as the first one for sure.
This is your first year in the new house too, right? So you had the yard.
Second year.
You wanted.
Yeah, second year we were at the house. Yeah, so yeah, we officially passed our 1 year anniversary, which was around Christmas time.
Oh, okay. But you're moved in and you're settled in, I guess is what I'm trying to say as well.
Yeah. Finally moved in. Finally settled in.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Greg. I won't say his last name because I want to make it weird. But he sent me a bottle of whiskey. Now, it's not the most expensive bottle of whiskey, but it's the meaning behind it, right? So like if we're coworkers and you send me like, crazy expensive bottle of whiskey, I just know you're going to expense it, right? Like you're going to figure out a way to do it. Now, if you go out of your way to have, a somewhat inexpensive bottle of whiskey delivered to my house, I know for a fact that you're not going to expense this. Is coming out of your own pocket and you're just being a good person. So Greg, thank you so much. I'm always happy to help you with your calls and whatnot. But anyways, it was kind of neat. I think it was like a $25 bottle of whiskey, but the meaning behind it's a little bit more, right? When I know he's just coming out of his own pocket, I think it's kind of a cool thing. Nice gesture. So anyways, cheers. Greg, you're the man.
Is that Greg Chew?
I don't think he's him.
I would, you know what? You say that, but I would. I love Greg. He's good. He's good people.
Good guy.
Greg is a good dude. Yeah.
Got to have him on.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe we will. The dude is so, yeah. I think we should have Greg. I'm going to text him right now.
I've been trying to get him on. Like I've met with him in person a couple of times. He's a bit shy. Like just like a lot of our guests that don't want to come on. Like he's a bit shy to come on. But I know he'd do fine.
Well, Chris, did you do anything good for New Year's?
No, like I said, just hung out here, did some yard work during the day, and met up with some friends earlier in the day, and then we did the countdown for the kids for the New York ball drop at 9 p.m. Pacific time, and then just watched Gladiator after that.
Yeah, it's my dad's birthday today, so we're gonna
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
We're gonna go to this. We're gonna go to the Veterans Cemetery and celebrate him over there. So
my dad was a New Year's kid.
Yeah.
New Year's baby.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Well, we continue to get great comments about our dad joke of the week.
Dad joke of the week.
This week,
Dad joke of the week.
I'm up. How many people can travel together to Costa Rica? 2 can.
Dude, you went quick with that one. I didn't even have a chance to think about it.
Yeah, what's up?
Are the toucans pretty popular down there?
Yeah, it's a pretty popular bird in Costa Rica.
Did you see them?
I saw them. We went to the animal park. We got to see them. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I saw some toucans. We saw the famous sloth there too.
Wait. Hold on. You went to the animal park and saw them as opposed to just walking around and seeing them if they're so prevalent everywhere?
I don't remember if we saw them on the resort or not. They might have, but we definitely saw them at the animal resort.
Yeah.
First world problems, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, great times. Wah, wah, wah. Good job, Chris. Not really.
What episode are we on? Never mind.
189. All right, to wrap things up, TikTok is able to influence elections. Apple may be forced to implement device-side CSAM scanning. Chrome extension developers get phished. And CSGO gambling is a huge problem. That's all I have for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find us on LinkedIn. Links will be in the description. Follow us on Instagram at PEBCAK Podcast. Thank you to our listeners and subscribers. Rate us 5 stars in the iTunes Store and Spotify, and left us a review. We appreciate you all spreading the word to help grow the show. The best way to find us is to search for the PEBCAK Podcast on your favorite podcast listening app. My co-host Brian Deach and Glenn Medina. I'm Chris Louie. Thanks for listening. See y'all next week, and as always, have a nice day.
Bye, Felicia.
Happy New Year. Cheers.
Cheers.
Have a nice day.